Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is another monthly wrap up. I have the most important thing, which is a Blu-res Fusion from Big B. So today we're talking about September's wrap up, and I have 6 books to talk about with that, 3 of which were on my Kindle, 3 were physical. I'm gonna just go in order of when I read them. So the first book of the month was Fearful by Lauren Roberts. This is, I don't even know what number you'd call this, just the novella. The newest novella that came out in the Powerless trilogy. I gave that a flat 3 stars. I've said it time and time again, so I won't harp on it too much. I don't overly love that series. It's one of those things where every time I read a book, I have moments where I'm having a fun time, but then I finish the book and I look back on it and I'm like, I feel like I did not get good answers out of that book. It always feels like there's either things left up for you to just decide on your own, which is never my favorite thing in a book, or it just feels like it just got skimmed over. Like it was just enough information to kind of make you happy if you don't think too much on it. And I just always feel like I kind of come out of those books with more questions than I started with. So I definitely have a love-hate relationship with that series. It was a decent time. It's just, again, it was my same thing of the characters' chemistry just kind of didn't feel like it flowed very naturally to me. It just almost came across as forced. And then on top of that, again, I feel like I still have a lot of questions left unanswered. So 3 stars for that. Then I read The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. This is I don't know if this is actually YA. I never looked into that. It just says it's a dark fantasy, but it definitely reads like YA, like upper YA. I gave this a flat 4 stars. I really had a good time when I read this. You're following Delaney, and she became deaf in her early childhood, so she doesn't really do sign language or anything like that. She wears a cochlear implant so she can still hear when she has that in. So she ends up getting accepted into a college that teaches students how to slip between worlds. And there ends up being a bunch of mysterious deaths happening at this college. And her and Colton, who is not supposed to go around her at all, it's like told at the beginning, stay away from her. They end up having to team up to try and figure out what's going on with all these deaths. This was super interesting. It had a lot of plot twists towards the end that I did not see coming. I had a very fun time reading this. This is perfect for the start of fall. It's definitely got like that dark academia setting to it, but it's got a lot of paranormal mystery twists and turns going on at the same time. Very good. Then I have the physical copy, but I actually just listened to the audiobook of this, but it's First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This is a mystery thriller. I also gave this one 4 stars. I had a very fun time listening to this. I definitely recommend the audiobook versus reading. It just felt more engaging. I felt kind of bored when I first started reading it. I don't fully remember what goes on in this. Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl could want. A doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. The only catch, Evie Porter doesn't exist. The identity comes first, Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and people in it. Then, the mark, Ryan Sumner. The last piece of the puzzle is the job. Evie isn't privy to Mr. Smith's real identity, but she knows this job isn't like the others. Ryan has gotten under her skin, and she's starting to envision a different sort of life for herself, but Evie can't make any mistakes, especially after what happened last time. Evie Porter must stay one step ahead of her past while making sure there's still a future in front of her. The stakes couldn't be higher, but then Evie has always liked a challenge. This one, it definitely kept me guessing throughout the whole thing. I kept thinking I knew where it was going to go, and it just polar opposite. The ending to this was really good. I liked the way it was written and the way it was structured, and the way that she planned out the ending to this was very, very good. Yeah, I highly recommend this one. I had such a fun time reading this one. Well, listening to it. Then I read I listened to The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. This was my first Frida McFadden book. Did not disappoint. I gave that a flat 4 stars, but honestly, I think I would kind of give that more, like maybe a 4.25. I had a very fun time listening to that audiobook. Again, I recommend the audiobook. It is just so much more engaging. I truly thought I had that book figured out, and the ending, the last 15% of that book, there were so many twists to that where I was like, what the hell is going on in this book? what is even happening right now? Where did that come from? That one was so well structured, so well structured. I had such a good time with that book. So in this one, you're following Sydney, and she lives in New York. She's on this like dating site. I want to say it was called like Hinge or something, but it's set for only residents of New York. And she's just gone on date after date with just terrible men. And she finally meets a doctor, and she thinks that he is absolutely perfect. She thinks she's finally found the one. Then another murder happens, and it's like a string of murders that has been going on where the suspect is like dating his victims before he kills them. And there are some clues that make it kind of seem like it's her current boyfriend. So she is in the middle of like trying to figure this out before she becomes the next victim. The ending to that, I really don't think I would be able to guess that again. Like, looking back at it, I really didn't see many clues at all to how that was gonna go. I liked the way the book was too, because you get like present day chapters from her point of view, but you also get flashback chapters from the main male character's point of view from when he was younger. Highly recommend that one. That made me want to go back and just read all of her backlog. Then I listened to Something in the Walls by Daisy Pierce. This was one of the books that got released this year that I really wanted to read. Thinking back on it, I gave this 3.75 stars. I'd stick with that. This is somewhere between like 3.5 and 3.75 stars. It was enjoyable. I don't know. It definitely had twists. Like, the ending to this had twists that, again, I didn't see coming for the most part. I say that, how do I describe this? It like gives you hints and then kind of backtracks a little bit, and then you find out and you're like, okay, I wish it would have just been like the very ending, like crazy plot twist, but it does kind of give you a little bit of clues around like the last 20%. But throughout the whole beginning, you really don't see that as being one of the things. But the setting to this is really, really good for fall. It's set in like either Scotland or Ireland, which again, I liked the audiobook because the narrator had the accent to kind of more engulf you in the story. And it does center around like witches, so it had a very good setting for fall. But this one, you're following Mina, who is a child psychologist, but she hasn't actually had like a job yet. She's like just out of college, and she's getting ready to get married, but her fiance is kind of like dull, boring, kind of undermines her a lot. And she ends up taking this job. Her brother died when she was younger, and he was only 14 at the time, so that's like a huge trauma thing for her. And so she goes to these grief meetings where she meets Sam, who's a journalist. He ends up finding out about this younger girl, Alice, who they think she's possessed by a witch. And so Mina ends up going there to kind of help figure things out, because since she is a child psychologist, she's like, no, there's like a logical explanation to what's going on. It's not witches. But in this town, it's very like old-fashioned, very centered around witches. Like, they have hagstones and that hanging. And there is a lot of like dark, sinister things that goes on in this town that get uncovered as the story progresses. And it gets crazy at the end. The ending of this was really good. It's just the leading up to that, I did find myself getting kind of bored throughout a lot of the book. But it's still one that I feel like it was engaging enough to where I didn't necessarily think about DNFing it. It's just, I was like, okay, can we kind of get to the next point? Still would recommend. Still like a 3.5, 3.75. Still had a decent enough time. And last but certainly not least, we have Manacled by Senlin Yu. This is a Dramini fanfic. I typically don't like to rate fanfics in the same vicinity as traditionally published books that are like on their own, but I feel like this book, it stands off on its own. Yes, it has Harry Potter like lore in it and characters, but this book stands off on its own from the Harry Potter universe so well. Like, the way it's written, you almost forget that you're reading Harry Potter fanfic 100%. It got a 6 star from me. It got 6 stars. This is going to be a book that sticks with me forever. It's going to be one of those things. I was emotionally damaged at the end of this book. I definitely sat there staring at a wall for a little bit. I really didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know what to pick up next. I was like, where do I go from here? How does one recover from this? Still asking myself that. So this is set during the war, and it is following Hermione and Draco. And when I tell you to check the trigger warnings if you're going to read this book, check the trigger warnings. There's so much trauma, so much in this book. This is a very heart-wrenching, sad, traumatic, a lot of different types of abuse going on throughout this whole entire book. It is not a fun fantasy, romantasy love story. It's not. Don't even remotely go into it thinking that it is, because it's not. You're gonna have plenty of what the fuck moments, and it leaves you very conflicted on your feelings. Extremely conflicted. The author, I'm mind blown. I'm seriously mind blown that this is a fanfic, and I'm so glad that the author got a traditionally published, because Alchemized is the traditionally published Manacled, but the story, Alchemized is completely changed. I have heard so many people say that, like, you can see the similarities between them, but that book was just rewritten to a point where it pretty much stands completely away from Manacled. It just has kind of that same structure and layout. The author deserved that, because her writing is insane. Insane. It was over 1,000 pages, and I still almost felt like it wasn't enough. I could have kept reading, and I would have been happy about it. I wasn't even at the point where I was like, can this end yet? I was like, why are we ending? Why? I need more. I need more. All I'm saying is she should not have been able to make me enjoy the character the way that she did after everything that happens in the beginning. I thought there was no way in hell there was going to be any chance of redemption somehow, some way. Yeah. So my biggest takeaway from that is check the trigger warnings and be prepared mentally to be absolutely destroyed in every way, shape, and form. This is how you know that this was good. My brain typically can't do, like, even when I hit 600-page books, I'm like, I need something short to wipe my brain, to just scrub that thing clean. My attention span is like sub-zero, okay? It's like hanging on by a very small thread that's just fraying, okay? This book, I was at like the 60% mark, which, keep in mind, is still like a good solid 8 hours worth of reading. So I binged like 8 hours of that in about a day, and I still wanted to just immediately pick up Alchemized. And I also debated on just restarting Manacled. That's how you know it's good. I'm still actively, like, I'm in the middle of just reading something short for a reading vlog. I still am debating and itching to pick up Alchemized. So there's that. My brain is just constantly like thinking about quotes within that book, things that happened in that book, the characters. I'm honestly kicking myself because I downloaded that book August 12th of 2023, 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when I first downloaded that book, and I just got to it, which honestly makes me sad. I'm mad at myself for putting it off for that long, because I did start it probably 2 or 3 times previous to this, and I'd get like 5 chapters in, and I'm just like, there'd be a new book that came out that I really wanted to read, and I'm like, I'm gonna read that one instead. No, I wish I would have just stuck with this. I wish I would have just read that. Anyway, those are the 6 books that I read in September. I'm trying to get a head start on October, because I seriously have like 10 books on my TBR. Questionable at best, because a lot of these are actually kind of thick books too. That's all I have for you in this video. Let me know down in the comments any of these books that you've read, what you rated them, any of the books that you're looking forward to reading in October. Because again, I say this in every video, even though my TBR is over 100 books long, I always am looking for new books to add to it. I love to, even though I shouldn't. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to stay up to date with all my future videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!